Hi, everyone, and good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us right now and today on our virtual day of caring of United Ways. My name is Jennifer Sanguano, and I have the pleasure to introduce you to two volunteers from 3M Health Information Systems, Monica and Anne. They will be the hosts of this health and wellness skill training today. And with that, I think I will turn it over to both of you, Monica and Anne. You can start off.
Yay. Okay. So as Jennifer said, we both work for 3M HIS over in Meriden on Research Parkway. And we are so lucky that 3M has such a positive wellness program in general. So we've been the beneficiary of many programs over many years. Monica and I are also on the sort of informal volunteer committee at our office. So when we bring in people to speak to us or whatever, we're usually the ones organizing it. And we've had some amazing things go on. We've played kindergarten games to get everyone out in the parking lot enjoying stuff, having fun, and we've had speakers on, healthy foods and that sort of thing. So it's been great. So we are really happy to be able to share this, back with everyone else. We have what's called an EAP counselor. Every 3M location has one of these. Ours is named Joan Schneiderman. She's a professional from her offices in Glastonbury. But she helped us actually put together these pieces for this today. So thank you very much to Joan, who we love very much. So stress, we're talking really about health and wellness and reducing stress today. Everybody since the middle of March has been highly stressed in one way or another. And, with the pandemic, as little things happen that never used to bother us, all of a sudden they become stressful. But it's really amazing to think of the power we have in ourselves to handle that stress. Not that we can solve the problem, but we can handle the stress and what it's, doing to our body. So we want to talk about three different areas that are helpful in doing that, in reducing stress. So one is exercise or movement, and then we have breathing, just the act of breathing, and mindfulness. So I'll go to the next slide, which I must have been fancy about. So I don't want people to be scared of the word exercise. It doesn't mean you need to put on a mask and go to a gym, or it doesn't mean you need to put on running shoes and go run a marathon. Exercise can be very simple. It can be, going for a walk, going for a bike ride. Cleaning your house, dragging that vacuum cleaner around is exercise. It can be mowing the lawn. If you're pushing it and not on one of those rider mowers, that is good exercise. So what I wanted to do or hoped we could do is maybe, I don't know how many people, we don't have that many people on the call, but if we could each unmute and just sort of give an example of something we do that, helps us move during the day. So I'll start because I have a very simple one. I live on Route 63, which is a 2-lane highway, and cars go 55 miles an hour, sometimes faster, by the house. But across from me is a dead-end street. And so sometimes, it'll be 11:30 in the morning, and I'll just be sitting here at my computer all day. I get out, I go across the street, I do one lap down and back and come in. And just that 5 minutes of fresh air, sunshine or raindrops or whatever's happening out there, just it clears the brain out and you can come back and sort of get back into things. So just that little 5 minutes is huge in reducing stress. So I wonder if others have things they could volunteer that they do on even the smallest basis. Oh, Julia, I think you're muted.
Yes, I could share that. I do when I do put on music throughout the day. So I do find myself doing some moves and dancing. I don't know if it's enough exercise, but it does help me de-stress.
Yeah. Well, and just the way you said that is important because it isn't really about exercise or what we all think of. It's just moving. So yeah, doing little dance moves, that's it. It actually helps your blood circulate more, so it's all good. Others?
If I'm in a good spot, when I'm good and I'm on, I might take a short walk, or I do some stretching in my office.
Yeah.
Just some quick little things. Outside of work, I do a fairly good amount of exercise, but that maybe is intermittent. So, and when I'm not good, I go out and buy a Starbucks frozen frap.
Well, if you get out of the car and walk into the store rather than going through the drive-through, you have just moved. So that's good. Okay. That'll count.
Just a confession. I can go home now tonight and sleep good.
Exactly. Anyone else want to offer up?
I like to walk my dog.
Yes. Oh, fabulous exercise for two.
Yes.
I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah. If you're not chasing other animals around, yeah.
Well, this is true.
All right. Anyone else?
I will put out a thing. My wife and I we'll take either early morning or later at night walks. And but we had to come up with a rule because we found ourselves walking and talking about work a lot. And I'm like, or we got 4 young adults, and they seem to always need something. And I'm like, you know what? I just want to walk and enjoy it. I don't want to talk about solving problems or tasks or, but she's a good taskmaster. So like, she thinks she's got me for an hour, and I'm like, no more of this. We got to just, so we sometimes designate it where we're allowed to talk about things, and sometimes it's just a nice walk to chill out. But,
yeah.
The latter is more enjoyable.
Well, when we get to the mindfulness part at the end of this, just take that maybe to your next walk, and that might help. So what Monica and I are going to do now is there's this, and the link is down at the bottom. The New York Times had a great list of simple stretching exercises. And I don't, there might be 6 or so. And we're just going to kind of go through them. These are things you can do right where you are. It takes just a few minutes, and each one of them helps the body, which, then helps the mind. It just gets the blood flowing a little more, and, the muscles moving a little more. I know I have felt like I am absolutely cemented into this chair sometimes, more so than when working out of the office, as I'm now working from home. So we're just going to go through each one of these, and people should participate along right where you're sitting. So do you want to start off, Monica?
So the first one is, we're at our computers all day, or even in the evening, we're on our phones or our laptops. So just taking the focus off the monitor or the screen for a while, and let's do the eye exercise together. Just, looking around, stretching the eyes, taking focus off, come back, look.
This one reminds me of an exercise my eye doctor gave me to do.
It is.
But I need to do more often.
Yes.
Just looking around.
Just looking around, and just taking your mind off of the screen for a couple of minutes. It helps a lot. I found that. So that's our first exercise, our simple stretch.
Indeed. All right, the next one is for sore neck and tense shoulders. So you can see the position of the woman sitting in the chair. So if you sort of move to the edge of your chair so that you have a little room behind you, and clasp your 2 hands together, and then just gently raise them up, and repeat that. So it's sort of a self-massage technique that will release the neck tension. And then you can also just look over each shoulder, you know, gently, don't do any sharp or fast movements, but if just doing this, already I feel much better than I did a minute ago.
Yeah.
It really just helps to take the shoulders down, relax what's happening in the neck. So this is another great one for sore neck and shoulders. All right. All right, Monica.
So this one is for a tight back. You've probably seen it. You've probably done it standing up when you just sit up and then you move your hands out, you round your shoulders, you hold it, and then you come back. A lot of times we do it standing up, and I mean, personally, I think standing up is better. So, you know, we could try this. It really stretches out the back, the lower back, really good, and up the back. So I like standing up myself and doing this. So we could try that. And sometimes I know I used to do this in a group fitness class, and you would just flatten out your back and curl it up. Hold it, blow out, flatten your back, and curl it up. So that I really like this one. Actually, I use this one.
I feel like I'm taller now, Monica.
We can't get any taller, and that would be bad.
Well, we are pretty tall too.
We're already pretty tall.
All right. Well, this one is standing up. This is sort of restoring your lower back, your hamstrings, the back of your legs, and your calves. So, you know, when you sit for a long time, the lower spine contracts and the back muscles of your legs sort of shorten up. So this is a modified yoga down dog position. Not to worry about doing yoga. Actually, the one we just did with you, Monica, is also sort of, they call it the cat cow in yoga. If you're on your hands and knees, you curve your stretch round your back and then sort of arch your back. One's cat and one's cow. Anyway, this is a yoga down dog, but we're going to do it with the back of your chair. So if you actually, I might disappear because of my background photo, but if you actually got to the back of your chair and then walk your way out, here, maybe if I turn sideways, I won't disappear. Walk your way out and flatten your back with your legs straight. And that will start stretching the hamstrings out and elongating the back. And you can technically say you never really left your chair because you're still holding on to it. Oh, and that feels good.
I like this one.
Yeah.
I'm going to start doing it.
Yeah, that's a good one. All right, the next one is for glutes and hamstrings. And this one actually does involve getting out of your chair. So I don't know that we can demo it per se, but
this one is not too bad. You won't be able to see me. I have to bring my laptop, but it's basically, you know, squeeze your glutes up, you know, alternate your leg, and then bring it down. Squeeze up, alternate your leg. Sometimes you can do, keep both feet down and bring it up, bring your hips up, hold it 10 seconds, and then bring it down. This is a group fitness exercise as well.
Yeah.
So this one actually is good too.
Yeah.
And it helps with your core.
Yeah. And last but not least is our feet. So while you're down there, when you've done your your hip raises, just sit up and pay attention to your feet. So the two positions here, one of these is talking about like getting a ball or something, a tennis ball or whatever, and just rolling your foot. That you'd do seated in your chair. Just roll your foot over it, and it actually will massage and get blood flow into the bottom of your foot. And then the position where the woman is sitting and touching her toes, I mean, that's just, again, that's a full stretch. So that's going to stretch out the hamstrings, just like we did in the chair exercise. It's going to stretch out the shoulders. It'll elongate the back. So again, these are all just simple things, and all of that, if you took, I mean, were there 6 of them? I think there were, you know, a minute each. So 6 minutes and you're done, and you just, blood is circulating in your body again, and you can sort of move on, see, conquer the next, conquer the next problem at work. So that New York Times link at the front, if you know, that was on one of the earlier slides, you can just go that. You could probably just go to the New York Times itself and Google the name of the article. Let me see if my papers here have it. Simple stretches to combat all that sitting. So if you just Google simple stretches, I'm sure it would pop up on the New York Times website. So that movement concept is really a huge way to get your body to de-stress, because stress tightens everything up, it tenses everything up, and these are, again, just strategies to help change that physical nature that comes from stress. So, and again, any movement counts. Literally getting up from your table and walking to the refrigerator and back does count. If you come back with a hot fudge sundae in your hand, maybe it's counteracted, but that gives you mental happiness too, and that's important. Yeah. So, but anyway, deep breathing is another thing, and that will help with this, and Monica's going to lead us through that.
So, this is one of the techniques that our EAP counselor, employee assistance person, she's gone over this with us many times. And actually, I use it, and I also have my son use it as well. So when we feel tense, it's going to happen. It's part of the normal process, but often we stop breathing. So when you start getting, you know, a little upset, recognize that you're getting upset, you're holding your breath, or you're getting agitated. And some of these strategies help, you know, calm your body and just get your mind back to a centering. Few things that the deep breathing does is it does reduce the tension. So maybe you're breathing and you're using your shoulders, and also it just helps you to come down just a little. And when you feel stress, it helps you just, breathing helps you just, it refocuses. It's the same thing if you're a mother and you're having a baby, they tell you to do the breathing. It's really just to turn off your thoughts. It really, I don't know if it really helps, but I think it just, you know, focuses you in a different way. So again, the benefits of deep breathing are just reducing the tension, helping us to feel physically relaxed and turn our mind away from being overwhelmed in some of the stressful thoughts. So,
should I just bring them all up?
Yes, this is a good idea. Thank you. So with the deep breathing exercises, I often don't lie down. This is a personal choice. Sometimes I sit, sometimes I stand, but lying down is an option. And the first thing you would do is close your eyes and then take a breath. So actually, we're going to do this together, but we got to keep our eyes open so that we can read the screen of what we're doing. So we exhale 3 times, and it sounds strange at the beginning, but actually it works when you go, hey, 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 hey. Then you inhale through your nose, and you count. So we can all just do it. I don't need to count. Everybody knows what to do. So let's just try it a few times. Again, we're going to try just keep your eyes open so you can see the steps. So let's start with exhaling 3 times. One more time. Let's do it again. Two more times. Last time. There we go. We probably feel a little better already. I think this one takes a lot of practice. Or we have to write. I think the way Joan showed us is like you have to just remember 3, 5, 7, 10, and 3, 5, 7, 3, 5, 7. And then that way you kind of know what to do each time. I do like this, and my son is 17, so I try to encourage him to do the deep breathing when he gets overwhelmed or just feeling stress.
I have to say that having gone through this with our EAP counselor, as Monica said, you don't even have to do the 10 times. If you find yourself in a situation where you're realizing, well, I'm getting really tense, and you just stop and you take one really good deep inhalation and one really good exhalation, and instantly your heart rate starts to lower, your blood pressure starts to go down. It's amazing how quickly it changes what's physically happening with your body. So it's not that you even have to say, okay, every day at 10 I'm going to do deep breathing exercise. This is something you have in your pocket 24/7. So if you wake up at 3 a.m. and the wheels start to turn, that's one case where I would definitely do it lying down. You can do that deep breathing exercise to try to get yourself back focused on, I'm in bed, I'm supposed to be sleeping, and try to, get those. So that's another time when it's really good. But you can do this absolutely anytime while you're driving the car, except don't close your eyes. So, it's a great exercise.
Any questions about that? Anybody think they could maybe try it tonight, or maybe try it tomorrow? Okay.
Excellent. Well, breathing all the time is a good thing, but the deep breathing is
deep breathing.
Yeah,
it's really what matters.
Right.
Yeah.
Indeed. All right. The last part of what we're going to go through is just this concept of mindfulness. And let me just bring up the points here. So, and mindfulness, and again, it's kind of like that word exercise. People get nervous when they see the word exercise because they think it means something formal. I have to have the right outfit to exercise this way, and I have to have the right shoe, and I have to have the right equipment, and I have to have a certain amount of time, and none of that's true. I mean, well, all of that's fine. Exercise is great, but just movement is good. It's fabulous. It does wonderful things. in a similar way, mindfulness, people hear that word and they start thinking, oh my gosh, this means I have to meditate. Oh, I'll never be able to meditate. You have to sit cross-legged like these people in the picture. I can't do that, for more than like 30 seconds until everything starts to hurt. There's just no way. Well, mindfulness is not that. It is just the simple act of what if you did meditation would do for you. So it's something any human can do. We all have the ability to be mindful, which really just means we are fully present in whatever is happening right now. So right now I'm sitting at my kitchen table. I have a lovely vase with hydrangeas right there, and I can see all your faces on my screen. I'm very aware of what's happening right here and aware of what you're doing in that moment. Not thinking to what is happening 5 minutes from now or what just happened, but what's happening right now. I'm sitting in my chair, my hands are on the table, and I'm speaking to the computer. Just aware of what's exactly happening. Then not overly reacting about what is going on, no sudden movements or shouts or screams. It's just, all right, I heard a dog bark. And you can look out your window and see if the dog's running around your yard or, whatever. There's no sudden actions or movements. It's just being mindful and aware. And then probably most important from my perspective is not being judgmental. So it's not saying, oh, I looked to see whether the dog was running around my backyard. That meant I wasn't paying attention. It's like we don't need to shame ourselves in any way. It's all about what's happening, right in this moment. So I didn't mean to do all these fancy. So to be mindful, there's a website here, mindful.org, so not that difficult. Then under the meditation, there's a section, Mindfulness Getting Started. And that has some really great content and ideas about being mindful. So if you go through each of these sort of aspects of mindfulness, it's setting aside time and space. Now, that doesn't mean you need a room to yourself or whatever. You just need to be present where you are. Like I could do it right here sitting in my chair at my kitchen table. And then observe the present moment as it is. So it's not necessarily about quieting the mind or achieving this state of eternal calm. It's just aiming to pay attention to what's happening right now, no judgment. Then I love the next one. Let your judgments roll by, because all of us do this in our heads. Things happen. We, your child runs from one room to the next, and you either judge them or you judge yourself for creating a child that would run from one room to the next, or whatever your judgment may be. These things start floating through your mind when you try to calm. So, when they come up as you're just setting aside this period of mindfulness, just let them roll by. You acknowledge, yep, okay, and then let it go, let it go. And then return to observing what's present in the moment. And so that's why I think it was you, Jim, who talked about going for the walks. Maybe you just say, we're going to have 3 minutes on our walk, and we're just going to be mindful, and we're going to look at the trees and the leaves and be mindful of how beautiful they are, or whatever, and just let that moment of calm. And then I bet you'd be willing to, or able to, solve whatever problems come up
because I go there every week and I cut flowers. And when I'm feeling stressed, I look at those flowers and breathe out and in and say, that's a beautiful sight. Let my eyes enjoy this. And a lady mentioned she was walking her dog. So I used to walk my dog and listen to a book. Now I look at my dog, I look at the trees, I listen for birds, just kind of listen for sounds and breathe out and in. And that means I'm being present. I'm enjoying my walk and watching my dog. I'm not playing with the dog all day, but, I'm watching him and he's looking at me, I'm looking at him, and we're enjoying ourselves. And he's kind of tired of the pandemic because every day is 3 miles. But and he's a little dog because he only weighs 8 pounds, but he's happy. He's happy. 3 miles, and we're both looking, and he's looking at grass and me, and it just, I'm trying to be present when I'm doing the dog walk. So.
Well, any questions on mindfulness?
Or any comments?
Okay. Well, this is our last slide, and again, many thanks to Joan Schneiderman, our EAP counselor, who's just got the most amazing stuff. And we loved this idea of just a way to, don't be a judger, don't self-judge. So for today, instead of making a to-do list, make a ta-da list. Which is effectively an I did it list, and just think of, and you can do this at noon, just stop at noon, and when you think, oh, I've got so much work to do, it's like, well, so stop and think about everything you've already accomplished at that point in the day and congratulate yourself for getting that done. People keep adding stuff to your basket all the time, which is not your fault. So you need to acknowledge and be appreciative of all the things you have accomplished. So we loved the idea of a ta-da list, just as a nice way to break up your day and put the positive spin on what's going on in your life. And so that's it. That's what we had for health and wellness. It's pretty simple stuff, and we're believers, and we both seem pretty happy, I think.
Yes, we are.
That is wonderful. Monica and Anne, this is just something that I feel I needed for today with all the events, and I thank you so much for allowing us to take that time to breathe, be mindful, and also keep in mind to exercise, which is something I need to do more. So I really appreciate, you taking the time for this. And that last quote that you have right there, it's very helpful. I think it is important that we realize we do a lot already besides what we have to still do. That, find that balance. So anybody that has any questions, I listed the links for both the article of the New York Times with the simple stretching exercises, and also the mindfulness website where you can find more information and you can read it over and share with other friends. This is something that I feel like it's very, very needed right now, especially like you mentioned, Anne, with COVID. Everybody, even at home working, might need those stretching, because even if you're at home and in pajamas, you might still not be stretching enough. And it's very, very useful. So thank you so much once again, Anne and Monica from 3M. I really appreciate your time. And anybody that has any questions, last comments that want to add?
Thank you, both of you. And I do think it is always important to remember that we do make things much more complicated than we have to. And I think it is that, like, we all have 5 minutes, and 5 minutes of a stretch or a little mindfulness activity has a big impact. So I was at a training recently, and the person said, just set a timer in your phone like an alarm for 3 times a day, just so it goes off, and that's your reminder to drink your water and do a stretch or take a moment and take in something, beautiful for a couple minutes. And in that way we get engrossed in all these cameras in front of us and monitors and et cetera. And I call it the COVID casino, because some days I'm like, I don't know what time it is. I don't know where I am. I'm just like, oh, wow, it's a nice day outside. So that is a helpful little technique, actually.
Yeah, you're so right, Matthew. Jim. I keep calling you
You'll
Matthew.
get it someday. That's all right. My wife wanted to have, her favorite name was Matthew, and she always wanted to have a son named Matthew. And then she married me and could not have a Matthew. So I'll tell her tonight that I got called Matthew today, and that'll make her day.
I think this is the second time I call you Matthew for a reason.
All right. It's
Yes, thank you so much, Jim. And once again, thank you for everybody that is here joining us, taking the time for this health and wellness skill training. We hope you liked it. This session was recorded, so if you would like to repeat and see it again, we can for sure arrange that and have it over to you, send it over to you. And I think we did pretty good. Thank you so much again.
And Jennifer and Julia, if I just could add one more thing, is to thank you, United Way. The program you put together for today was really impressive. And clearly it's now the end of the day, a little deep breathing, glass of wine never hurts. But it's all good. Thank you.
Absolutely.